I finally stopped counting the minutes at 4 in the morning, somewhere around the 6th time I checked my watch and told myself the shift was really, truly over. The cafeteria was already stripped down for the night, chairs upside down on half the tables, the salad bar dark, the ice machine muttering to itself behind the counter like it had opinions about the hour. I wasn't planning to sit. I told myself that walking in for one to-go cup of the burnt coffee they left brewing for the night crew counted as efficient, not avoidance. Then I saw Priya already at the corner table, 2 cups in front of her, and my whole plan fell apart without a fight. "I got you one," she said, sliding the second cup across before I'd even pulled out the chair. "Figured you'd show up eventually. You always do." 6 years. 6 years of 12-hour shifts on the same unit, of handing charts back and forth over the nurse's station, of her covering my lunch break without being asked and me leaving her the good pens because she always lost hers by noon. 6 years, and I had never once let myself sit across from her outside of work hours and just look at her without an excuse ready on my tongue. "You didn't have to wait," I said, which wasn't what I meant, and she gave me the look that told me she knew it wasn't what I meant. "I know I didn't have to." She wrapped both hands around her cup. Her nail polish was chipped on the thumb, the way it always got by the end of a week of shifts, and I found that small and perfect detail more disarming than anything she could have said. "I wanted to. There's a difference, Elena." I laughed, but it came out thin, more nerves than humor. Outside the tall windows the parking lot lights buzzed against a sky that hadn't decided yet whether it was still night or already morning, that gray in-between hour where the whole hospital seems to hold its breath between shift changes. Somewhere down the hall a gurney wheel squeaked past, and neither of us looked toward the sound. For once, nothing was actually urgent. That was the strange part, we finally had nothing to rush toward, and I didn't know what to do with my hands. "Can I ask you something?" she said, "and you actually answer instead of making a joke?" "Depends on the something." "Why do we do this?" She gestured between us, a small, tired motion. "Every couple of months, some night we both happen to still be here, we end up at this exact table with this exact bad coffee, and we talk until the sun's coming up, and then we go home and pretend the next shift like it didn't happen. I've done the math. It's been happening for 6 years. I want to know if I'm the only one who's noticed." I thought about lying. I've gotten good at it over the years, some version of I don't know, I guess we just click or work friendships are like that, easy answers that let both of us keep our badges on straight and our hands to ourselves. But it was 4 in the morning, and I was too tired to keep dressing it up, and something about the way she was watching me, steady, unguarded, like she'd already decided to risk it whether or not I met her halfway, made the easy answer feel like a waste of the last 6 years. "You're not the only one," I said. "I've noticed every single time." She didn't say anything right away. She just turned her cup a quarter turn on the table, the way she does when she's deciding whether to trust a reading twice before she charts it. I recognized that pause. I'd seen it before shift reports, before hard conversations with families in the hallway. It was the pause she took right before she committed to something. "So why didn't either of us ever say anything?" she said finally. 6 years is a long time to just notice. That was the question I didn't have a clean answer for. Maybe it was the schedule, the way our lives ran on opposite clocks half the time, nights bleeding into days bleeding into the next set of nights. Maybe it was easier to let it stay a maybe, because a maybe never has to survive an actual conversation, never has to risk changing something that already worked. We had a good thing, whatever it was, comfortable, safe, built on 10,000 small kindnesses that never asked to be named. Naming it meant it could also end. I think that's the part nobody warns you about, how much safer it feels to want something quietly than to want it out loud where it can be turned down. I think I was scared, I admitted. If I said it and you didn't feel the same, I'd lose the version of this we already had. The easy version. And if I did feel the same? Then I'd have to actually do something about it. Which is somehow scarier. She laughed at that, a real laugh, low and surprised out of her, and it eased something tight in my chest that I hadn't realized I was carrying since I walked through the cafeteria doors. "That," she said, "might be the most honest thing you've ever said to me. And I've heard you explain a code status to a very difficult family member. Different kind of hard conversation. Same amount of nerve, though." She reached over and, for the first time in 6 years, put her hand over mine on the table instead of just brushing past it in a hallway. Her fingers were warm from the cup. "I've been sitting at this table by myself, waiting for you, for longer than I want to admit. I'm tired of doing the math on maybe. I'd rather know." I turned my hand over under hers, and it felt like the smallest gesture in the world and also like stepping off a ledge I'd been standing on the edge of for 6 years running. "Then let's know," I said. "Whatever that means. I don't want the version of this where we go back to pretending on Monday." "No pretending on Monday," she agreed. "I don't think I've got another 6 years of that in me anyway." We sat there until the kitchen staff came in to start the breakfast line, until the smell of turning on grills and fresh coffee replaced the stale, burned smell that had been keeping us company all night, until the room filled in around us with the ordinary noise of a hospital waking up for another day. Neither of us moved to leave first. I don't know how many mornings I'd spent driving home alone, rehearsing conversations I never had, wondering what it would have cost me to just say the truth out loud instead of folding it into another polite goodbye at the elevator. That morning I didn't have to wonder anymore, and I kept thinking how strange it was that it took 6 years and one empty cafeteria and 2 bad cups of coffee to finally say the thing that had been sitting between us the whole time, quiet and patient, waiting for either of us to be brave enough to reach for it first. I still don't know which one of us should have spoken up sooner, or if there even was a sooner that would have made sense back then. Maybe some things only get said when you're finally tired enough to stop protecting yourself from the answer.